What's going on, agents? It's LtBuzzLitebeer, and today is a fucking crazy day in terms of content being released for The Division 2. Now, I purposely waited until after the embargo was lifted in order to post my thoughts and impressions video about yesterday's trailer. Wait a second, Buzz. What embargo? Come on, silly. The embargo concerning the PvP testing that I was involved in at Red Storm Studios. And the reason I held off on all these thoughts and impressions videos is that a few items that you see in the trailer are items that I encountered during my test. Now, if you want to view the 5 videos I uploaded to my channel, please check in this video's description for links to those videos, or just browse my channel directory. And as far as concerning this trailer, I will be making a few stops and discussing what I see and would like to see in upcoming content releases. So without further ado, let's get started.
Please stop it!
I never pictured my first trip to DC would be like this.
Okay, so in terms of anything new, we haven't seen really anything new at this point. Very cinematic at the beginning. We have the bat waving. It looks like hyena faction or whatever they may be. We've seen the standard weaponry. Of course, they want to showcase the specialized weapons, so we see the TAC 50. All very cinematic, all very well done, but nothing new at this point.
After we survived the initial attack in New York, our capital needed us. But with the country slipping into civil war, who can we trust?
After months of resilience, we have survived the virus outbreak.
Okay, I felt this was another great place to stop right here because after watching through the trailer, I can really appreciate this. This seems to be actual game footage. This is actual cutscene footage, and these are probably accurate representations of our character models and what we can do. We can see quite a varied range of facial structures, hairdos, outfits, things like that, which I can really appreciate. For those of us that have played The Division 1, we know that customizing our character up until that last update where you could kind of change things around was very minimal. It still is kind of minimal. I'd like to see this expanded on quite a bit. But once again, very cinematic leading up to this point, but I think this is an accurate representation of what we can see as far as graphics and character models in The Division 2.
That crippled our country.
Outside those walls, it's perdition. Whatever you're doing out there.
Okay, so we saw a little bit of the character development leading up to the, I guess, the basis of our campaign story. They're trying to, and we really needed to get more involved with character development in this version of The Division. Obviously, that was sorely lacking in the first one, but I wanted to stop at this cutscene, and I posted this, yesterday to Twitter. You can see a rocket flying through. Looks like an indoor, I don't know, possibly a deli or cafeteria or something like that. And I wanted to tell you, I encountered an NPC firing a shoulder-fired RPG in my Red Storm test. Now, if you watch my, I'm trying to think of which video it was, my DZ, not the thoughts and impressions video that I posted for The Division 2, but it's basically the full campaign breakdown, and that video, there's actually a portion where I stop and I point an arrow at it, but I had several rockets fired in my general vicinity, so I'm guessing that we're going to see NPCs with shoulder-fired RPGs in this upcoming edition, and that's going to be badass. If we could get one ourselves, that would be even better. But anyway, I think this is a real thing.
We're not feeling it in here.
But the fight to save our nation from total collapse.
Okay, I purposely wanted to stop right here. I got a question yesterday on Twitter about what weapon this gentleman here in the front is firing. That's an MP5 ST. And in terms of weaponry, it looks like we have an M1A on his back. Gentleman in the background, of course, has the TAC 50 folded up on his back. And then looks like he's firing an M60. So nothing new in terms of weaponry here, but I want to answer that question. That's a MP5 ST that the gent in the front there is firing.
Collapse is far from over.
Get down! Everybody get down!
Ruthless factions threaten to destroy the very fabric of our democracy.
All right, I felt this was another great place to stop right here. This looks like an elite level boss. I don't know yet what faction this guy here is involved with or affiliated with, but this is a good representation of one of the major changes between the Division 1 and the Division 2 is that NPCs, instead of being overly large, like absurdly large and being able to soak up huge amounts of bullets, now we see how that they create this size differential for a boss or something like that. They basically encapsulate them in body armor. This one looks like he's part of the bomb defuse squad, but this is part of that new armor mechanics. So the size of the NPCs underneath, I mean, they're absolutely regular sized, same size as our agents, but on the outside, because they're wearing all of these body armor and everything, it gives them this sense and this feel of quite a bit of girth and heft to them. But underneath, they are real humans, and you'll enjoy this new, I guess, armor destruction mechanic that is in the Division 2.
Roving packs of hyenas, religious outcasts, and depraved fascists prey on the weak and murder the innocent.
Okay, this was another great place to stop. It looks like we're in the Washington, D.C. Underground here, which would be great. I really enjoyed the Underground DLC as part of our current Division game, but I wanted to focus in on this specific NPC type. These bonsai rushers are nasty. I encountered these in our DZ PvP test up at Redstorm, and if you get a couple of them around you, especially if they ignite like some canisters around you, it's basically an insta-melt. So these boys are nasty. You got to pay very close attention to them because they're basically running with a bunch of C4, I think, strapped to their chest. If they get too close to you, lights out.
For Division agents still struggling to hold this country together, it's time we kick our enemies out of their castles. We will not.
Okay, so another great place to stop. These looks like little cutscenes and everything out of actual campaign missions. You can see us running through the Smithsonian. You can see the space shuttle falling on the ground. So this looks to be actual game footage, which would be cool. There are so many interesting landmarks in Washington, D.C. that we can actually perform combat maneuvers in. So I really look forward to this part.
Compromise. We will never surrender.
This is our defining moment. Our chance to take back our country. Our chance to shape history.
Terminate any Division agents with extreme prejudice.
Okay, so leading up to this part, of course, we had the interesting Michael Bay run across the field while taking all sorts of incoming rounds, unrealistic, battle charge, you get the idea, but these guys right here are very interesting. I don't know if I remember encountering any of these at the PvP test up at Redstorm, but it looks to be that they have either hacked Shade Tech or a completely different variation of Shade Tech. As you can see, they have a diamond up where we would normally have our circle for the Division emblem, so I look forward to taking on these guys. They look to be basically on par with what we have as far as technology. So this would be a really interesting NPC battle, taking on this, I guess, these government warriors or whatever they may be. But they've been tasked with taking out the Division. So I look forward to taking these on in the Division 2. And of course, we end on the pre-order and links to everything else. So I guess it did its job. The trailer was interesting. It was entertaining. I don't think we really learned anything new. I did point out the few little relevant areas that I thought were interesting. Other than that, I thought it was well done. I appreciate seeing some of the new factions and maybe the way that they're basically hashed out a little bit more. I'd like to see a lot more character development. Hopefully I will see that in the future because that was sorely lacking in the Division 1. We got to see the new faction of basically the Division killers at the end. Well, maybe they might be a separate faction of SHD. Who knows? But anyway, I look forward to reading your thoughts in the comment section below. If you could take the time to rate the video with a huge thumbs up, it would be greatly appreciated. If you want some more LtBuzzLitebeer and my continued coverage of the Division and the Division 2 in your lives, make sure to pound that sub button. Look for me over on Twitter and on Twitch with weekly Division streams. Until my next The Division 2 video, this is LtBuzzLitebeer saying peace out.